so sorry. I'm so sorry, please. Obi, I miss you so much. Life, life has really been empty without you. Why? Why do you hate me so much? Hello, people. Welcome to the final part of Ibinabo's gift. If you haven't seen parts 1 to 3, rush now and do that so that you can understand what this story is really about. And if you're just joining us for the first time, please like, share, subscribe. Now, let's dive into the story. Story. Once upon a time. The tension in the air was suffocating. Ibinabo's heart pounding as she met the gaze of Obinna's parents. They had spent years searching for the woman responsible for their son's death, and now she was standing before them, vulnerable and exposed. But instead of rage, their expression held something else, something that shook Ibinabo to her core. It was a mixture of sorrow, confusion, and a hint of something she hadn't expected. Forgiveness. They wanted answers, but more than that, they wanted to understand how everything had gone so wrong. Ibinabo, feeling the weight of their stares, knew there was no escaping. She confessed everything, how she had fallen in love with Obinna, how her anger and pain had led her to that fateful moment, and how she had been running ever since. She told them about Chima, how he had become the one good thing in her life, and how she has risked everything to save him. As she spoke, tears streamed down her face. This was her penance, her final act of contrition. She had expected anger, hatred, but what she was receiving was something entirely different. Obinna's parents listened in silence, their own tears falling freely. When she finished, they didn't speak for a long time. Then Obinna's mother said, with a trembling voice, "We lost our son that day, but you lost yourself. We cannot bring him back, but perhaps we can save what is left." Ibinabo couldn't believe what she was hearing. They were offering her forgiveness, a chance at redemption, something she didn't think she deserved. But there was still one more twist of fate waiting for her, one she never saw coming. As they spoke, Chima woke up, groggy but alive. He looked up at Ibinabo and then at Obinna's parents. Something sparkling in his innocent eyes. Obinna's father noticed the resemblance, the familiar features that mirrored his late son. He looked at Ibinabo, a question forming on his lips, but he didn't have the words to ask. After pleading for what seemed like a long time, they decided to follow her to the village where she was hiding. So together, with Ibinabo and Chima, they set out. On reaching the village, they saw a crowd of villagers gathered in the market square, as though they were watching a wrestling match. Curious, Ibinabo moved closer to see what was going on, and to her greatest surprise, she saw her best friend, Adamma, whom she hadn't seen in 6 years since that incident. Many emotions flowed through her mind. Unsure of what to do or say, she just stared at her friend, waiting for her to break the silence. Adama, staring back with hate and rage in her eyes, pointed at her and said, "This is the murderer that killed the love of my life and ran into hiding all these years. Fight for me and bring me justice." Staring at Adama in disbelief at what she had just heard, before Ibinabo could say or do anything in her defense, the angry villagers, who had once commended her on the good things she had done for Chima, quickly turned against her. They started closing in on her to administer jungle justice, because that was the typical response to cases like this. Sick Chima, seeing what was happening, bravely stepped forward as though trying to defend the woman who had shown him nothing but love and cared for him like a mother. He said, "Leave my mother alone." Eh? Hey, the villager said sarcastically. "So you have recovered, and you even have the strength to speak. Abeg, shift, my friend." Unperturbed by their response to his bravery, Chima stood his ground, waiting to fight the first person who would attack the woman he had grown to love and call mother. "Leave them alone, please," a voice echoed through the crowd. Turning to see who it was, it turned out to be Obinna's father, the king of the neighboring village. As he gradually approached them, he said, "It is my son who was killed, and I know I came to your village for help when we were searching for him. It's been years since he was buried, and killing this young lady now will not bring him back. Besides, my wife and I have forgiven her, so please let her go." A few people from the crowd recognized him, though he wasn't dressed in his kingly regalia. One said, "Are you not the king of Utaka village?" Obina's father nodded in agreement. The crowd began to murmur, unsure of what next to do. While they were thinking, Adama spoke up again. "No, no, you can't possibly let her go just like that. After she killed your only son, she must serve the punishment she deserves, which is death. Kill her! Kill her!" she shouted. For the first time since the chaos started, Ibinabo spoke up for herself. "Adama, what did I ever do to you? At least tell me. Tell me so I know what you want them to kill me for. I have been quiet, trying to wrap my head around what I did to make you hate me this much. You claim I killed the love of your life, but how? How is it my fault that Omina picked me as his girlfriend? Because the only thing I remember was when you told me Obina was your crush. When he asked me out, I told you I never hid anything from you, and you said it was okay for me to date him. That what you felt for him was just a mere infatuation that had faded. Or am I missing something? If I am, please tell me. Let me know what my crimes are." Breathing and staring at Ibinabo, Adama said, "You took Obina away from me. I loved him first, but he chose you because you were more beautiful. Before you came to our school, I stood a chance with him. We were inseparable, but you came and took that away from me. I became your best friend because I wanted to still be close to Obina. The girl you caught him with was just our mutual friend, and I knew that your anger issues wouldn't let you ask the right questions. All I wanted was for you guys to break up that day. But no, what did you do? You ended up killing him, taking him away from me forever. Hot tears began flowing from Ibinabo's eyes. For the first time in 6 years, she wept uncontrollably. She had carried this burden of regret and pain for a long time, and all the while she had suppressed her emotions, focusing only on survival. But this time, she allowed herself to feel everything, and the only response she gave back to Adama was tears. You think you can get away with your crime by shedding tears? Adama said. It is either you die now or we report you to the authorities. This time around, the villager said to Adama, you and your friend will have to go somewhere else to settle your differences. Don't drag us into it. We demand that you leave our village right now. We don't want any more drama or trouble. With that said, the crowd began to disperse, leaving Adama and the trouble behind. In the midst of the chaos, only Chima was seen trying to console Ibinabo as she sat on the floor in the center of the crowd, crying her eyes out. She stood up and walked straight to her hut where she had her belongings and began packing. Chima said, please, take me with you wherever you're going. Don't leave me, please. Chima, please don't make it more difficult for me than it already is. I don't think villagers will allow me take you with me. Chima began to cry. Ibinabo couldn't stand his tears, so she asked him to bring his things. While helping him pack, she found a necklace with a locket. When she opened it, she couldn't believe her eyes. Meanwhile, Obina's parents were still outside, waiting for Ibinabo to come out, while Adamma had already left in shame, as her plans failed before her eyes. But before she left, she said, this is far from over. I will be back. Obina's mother stood there, dumbfounded, as fate finally brought her the answers she had sought for all these years. Answers she had been willing to pay for in her desperation. Now that she has had the answers, she didn't know what to do with them. Ibinabo came out of the room, looking as if she had seen a ghost. Chima, holding his bag, walked beside her as they approached Obina's parents. Obina's mom asked, where are you going now? I don't know, Ibinabo said, handing over the locket pendant she had just discovered in Chima's belonging. What is this? The queen asked. Ibinabo responded by bringing out her own copy of the picture the kind doctor had given her when she gave birth to Chima. What does this mean? Obina's father asked, full of hope. He remembered his first impression when he laid his eyes on Chima at the hospital. We will have to confirm this, he said, but in the meantime, you will come with us to our village where you will stay until all this is sorted. Ibinabo agreed, taking Chima with her because, at this point, there was no one left for her to ask permission from about whether she could take him or not. They all entered the car and left. When they had settled in, Ibinabo asked to see where Obina had been buried. She took Chima with her to visit the grave. Standing before it, she took a deep breath. Obi, life has played a cruel trick on me for years. I couldn't forgive myself for what happened that fateful day. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, Obi. I just couldn't bear the thought of losing you. Adama planned everything, and my anger destroyed us. My whole life changed that day. Tears poured from her eyes as she continued. But look who I found, our son. Never would I have imagined that life would be so kind to me after everything I did. He looks just like you. The day the DNA test came back positive, your parents couldn't believe it. Finally, I did something right. And now I want closure. Because I intend to replace all the bad incidents that has happened with memorable things and dates. She knelt down by the grave, placing her hand on the cold stone. Here is my gift to you, our son, my beating heart, and a piece of you, all in one place. Forever and a day is not enough, cause I love you deeply. Ibinabo returned to Okrika to make peace with her family. Obinna's parents arranged for her to be married on behalf of their late son, as Chima was declared the heir to the throne of Utaka. We have finally come to the end of this beautiful story. Ibinabo's gift shows us that forgiveness is paramount for us. No matter what people do to us, we should learn to forgive. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful story. Thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and turn on your notification button to stay updated on the juiciest African tales. From me, see you in the next one. Bye.